Hello, welcome. Today we'll be opening a Kaldheim pre-release pack. So let's get started. It's the first time in a while that I've actually gotten a pre-release pack like before the release. I got this the Thursday the 4th of February, and I'm recording this Saturday, hoping to get it out on Sunday. We'll see. Got a nice sleeve. And a spin down life counter. Six draft boosters. Oh, hey, he's back. Looks like they actually have 4 varieties this time. I feel like they've dropped it down to 3 for the past few sets. A little card divider insert. And I think this is some info on how to build a pre-release stack. That's nice, because the one time I actually did a pre-release, I did not know what I was doing. We got a premium card. Try not to bend it. Draugr Necromancer, 3 and a black for a 4/4 zombie cleric snow creature. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast spells from among cards in exile your opponents own with ice counters on them, and you may spend mana from snow sources as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. That sounds pretty good. I assume this is empty. Okay. Trying to organize everything. Ooh. Okay, let us begin in 1 second. Right. Pop filter adjusted. Let's get started. Oh. It's kind of an aggressive tear. First card. To Scary Firewalker, 2 and a red for a 3/2 human berserker creature with Boast 1. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Taralf blessed me with fire. I am worthy of Starnheim. Valor of the Worthy costs a single white for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. When enchanted creature leaves the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If I am to die, let it be a hero's death. Depart the realm. 1 and a blue, instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Foretell costs a blue. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. My home calls to me. I must go. Immersturm Raider. 1 and a red for a 2/1 Demon Berserker creature. When Immersturm Raider enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. The demons took no captives and claimed no spoils. They sought only to destroy. Guardian Gladewalker. 1 and a green for a 1/1 shapeshifter creature. With Changeling, this card is every creature type. When Guardian Gladewalker enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. The Raiders' only warning was a whisper floating through the mist. Trespassers. Elderfang Disciple. 1 and a black for a 1/1 elf cleric creature. When Elderfang Disciple enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. One day, the Great Serpent will rejoin us on Skemvar, and those who have wronged us will taste of our venom. Raven Form. 2 and a blue. Sorcery. Exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. Foretell for 1 blue for a blue. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Giant Ox. 1 and a white for a 0/6 ox creature. Giant Ox crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. How strong is he? Well, I once lost control of the plow, and he carved a furrow right through my house. Didn't even slow down, says Goldir Beskir Farmer. Sculptor of Winter. Costs 1 and a green for a 2/2 elf rogue snow creature. Tap to untap target snow land. I and my kin remember the old ways. The frost whispers to me in a language too ancient for the Scoti usurpers to comprehend. The Trickster God's Heist. 2, a blue and a black for a saga enchantment. As this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lower counter. Sacrifice after 3. You may exchange control of 2 target creatures. That's the one. 2. You may exchange control of 2 non-basic, non-creature permanents that share a card type. Or then 3. Target player loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Kaya's Onslaught. 2 and a white for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. Foretell for a white. During your turn, You may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Your trail ends here. Return Upon the Tide. 4 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an elf, create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. Foretell for 3 and a black. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Righteous Valkyrie. 2 and a white for a 2/4 angel cleric creature with flying. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have 7 life more than your starting total life, creatures you control get +2/+2. And we got a snow-covered plains. It's a plains basic snowland. Whoa, pretty. We got Morit of the Frost. Costs 2 green and 2 blue for a 0/0 shapeshifter legendary snow creature with changeling. You may have Morit of the Frost enter the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control, except it's a legendary and snow in addition to its other types. If it's a creature, it enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it and has changeling. That's cool. Are there double-faced cards in this set? I mean, I didn't think there were, but we got our double-faced token, so. On to the next. Craven Hulk. 3 and a red for a 4/4 giant coward creature. Craven Hulk can't block alone. Abandoned at birth, the giant was raised by goats. Ironically, it grew up to be the most cautious member of the herd. Goldmaw Champion. 2 and a white for a 2/3 dwarf warrior creature with boast for 1 and a white. Tap target creature. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once per turn. That was nothing. I once took down a frost giant with a spoon. I'm trying to figure out what he's attacking. Mists of Litiara. 1 and a blue for an aura enchantment with flash. Enchant creature or vehicle. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0. The Scale Raiders boasted that nothing could stop them. Certainly not a bit of fog. Snakeskin Veil. Costs a green for an instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until end of turn. It can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. Does a serpent roar and chase its prey? No. A serpent waits silently for oblivious prey to draw near. Dread Rider. 5 and a black for a 3/7 Spirit Knight creature. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Pay a 1 and a black and tap to exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses 2 life. 3 life. What kind of monstrous grave robber leaves the treasures but takes the bodies? says Fjall, Beskir Elder. Run ashore. 4 and 2 blue for an instant. Choose one or both. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on top or bottom of their library. Or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Which one of you slug-brained milksops forgot to make an offering to Cosima? Cosima? Says Yolker, Navigator. Way Down costs a single black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. The Draugr often drown intruders. Years later, their corpses rise from the depths to join the ranks of the Dread Marn. Codespell Cleric costs a single white for a 1/1 human cleric creature with vigilance. When Codespell Cleric enters the battlefield, if it was the second spell you cast this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Today, we are not Beskir or Tiscari. We must fight as one clan, shoulder to shoulder, to defend our rightful home. Bound in Gold. 2 and a white for an aura enchantment. Enchant permanent. Enchanted permanent can't attack, block, or crew vehicles, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Trespassers will be smelted. Axguard inscription. Whoa. Svella Ice Shaper costs 1 a red and a green for a 2/4 Troll Warrior legendary snow creature. Pay 3 and tap. Create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manolith with tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Pay 6 a red and a green and tap. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Frenzied Raider, 1 and a red for a 2/2 Demon Berserker creature. Whenever you activate a boast ability, put a +1/+1 counter on Frenzied Raider. Arrogant Maggot, you won't be so proud when I rip out your tongue and drink from your skull. Seems like a friendly guy. Vengeful Reaper, 3 and a black for a 2/3 Angel Cleric creature. With Flying, Death Touch, and Haste. Foretell for 1 and a black. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Starnheim is closed to you, coward. Blessing of Frost, 3 and a green for a snow sorcery. Distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. That symbol is mana from a snow source. A friend of... I don't know what letter that is. Friend of name is never cold. Volatile Fjord, Snowland Island Mountain. Tap to add a blue or a red. Volatile Fjord enters the battlefield tapped. I watched with my own eyes as Yari, I guess that's a J. I don't know. Yari Eaglecaller fell from these cliffs, only to be snatched from the air by a giant bird says Iskeen Kana Storyteller. Whoa. We got a foil Woodland Chasm, which is a swamp forest snowland. Tapped, add a black or a green. Woodland Chasm enters the battlefield tapped. Is this the grave of a god? A tunnel carved by the cosmos serpent? It matters not. It is no place for us, says Iskeen Kana Storyteller. We got a 1/1 elf warrior token creature. Doomscar Oracle. 2 and a white for a 3/2 human cleric creature. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you gain 2 life. Foretell for a white. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Giants and monsters loom on the horizon, and the elves plan to murder our gods. Karfell Harbinger. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 zombie wizard creature. Tap to add a blue. Spend this mana only to foretell a card from your hand or cast an instant or sorcery spell. This is a realm of the living. King Narfi's Legion is coming to change that. Tormentor's Helm. Costs a single red for an equipment artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to defending player. Equip for 1, pay 1. Attached to target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Mammoth Growth. 2 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Foretell for a green. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Thus, the long haul became a flat haul. That's funny. Village Rites. Costs a black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw 2 cards. The Skell raise scorn poles in conquered villages. Cursed totems of wood and bone that sap survivors from physical strength and the will to fight back. Smashing Success. 3 and a red for an instant. Destroy target artifact or land. If an artifact is destroyed this way, create a treasure token. It's an artifact with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Who said there's no profit in destruction? Says Magdaw, Brazen Outlaw. Oops. Karfell Kennelmaster. 4 and a black for a 4/4 zombie berserker creature. When Karfell Kennelmaster enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy them. Trapped in a realm of dead flesh and scarce hunting. The ravenous wolves of Karfell follow the dread Marn to warm game. Stalwart Valkyrie. 3 and a white for a 3/2 Angel Warrior creature. You may pay 1 and a white and exile a creature card from your graveyard rather than paying this spell's mana cost. It has flying. Only the worthy may pass. Mistwalker. 2 and a blue for a 1/4 shapeshifter creature with a changeling. This card is every creature type. And flying. Pay 1 and a blue, and Mistwalker gets +1/-1 until end of turn. To escape Litiara, follow a bird. Tuskegee Folklore. Infernal Pet. 2 and a black for a 2/2 imp creature. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Infernal Pet, and it gains flying until end of turn. Hear my pet. Another little light for you to snuff out. Says Xarek, Immersturm Gatekeeper. Skemfar Elderhall. Skemfar Elderhall. Land. Skemfar Elderhall enters the battlefield tapped. Tapped at a green. Pay 2, 2 black and a green, and tap. Sacrifice Skemfar Elderhall. Up to 1 target creature you don't control gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. Activate this ability only any time you could cast a sorcery. Whoa. Furia, Judge of Valor. 2 a white and 2 black for a 2/4 Angel Cleric legendary creature with flying and lifelink. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. She is both Shepherd and Reaper, and her judgment is final. Blizzard Brawl costs a green for a snow sorcery. Choose target creature you control, and target creature you don't control. If you control 3 or more snow permanents and the creature If you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Then those creatures fight each other. Each deals damage equal to its power to the other. Crippling Fear. Costs 2 and 2 black for a sorcery. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. Panic spreads like wildfire as the demons of Immersturm poured into Bredegard, slaughtering as they came. We got a snow-covered island. Island basic snowland. And an ad for Magic Arena. Haji Mob, or Hagi Mob, who even knows? 4 and a red for a 5/4 Troll Berserker creature with Boast, 1 and a red. Haji Mob deals 1 damage to any target. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Grog, it says. Master Scald. 4 and a white for a 4/4 dwarf warrior creature. When Master Scald enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your library. Nope, from your graveyard. If you do, return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. All my scars have stories to tell. Disdainful Stroke. 1 and a blue for an instant. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or greater. The Scald boasted that he could out-sing the sea. It reads as outsing. Cosima heard him and drowned his village in a single wave. The Longbeard Saga. King Harald's Revenge. 2 and a green for a sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and gains trample. It must be blocked this turn if able. We will destroy the pretenders and reclaim the divinity of the Aenir. Grim Draugr. 2 and a black for a 3/2 zombie berserker snow creature. Pay 1 and a snow. Grim Draugr gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. It can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. That symbol can be paid with 1 mana from a snow source. She was a ragged shadow of her living form, but she had lost none of her deadly prowess. Grizzled Outrider. 4 and a green for a 5/5 elf warrior creature. Sure, a horse might be faster, but I'd like to see a horse take the head clean off a troll in one swipe. Bind the Monster. Costs a blue for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. When Bind the Monster enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. It deals damage to you equal to its power. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Sarulf's snarl of rage shook the world tree. Kaldheim Courser. 2 and a white for a 2/2 Pegasus creature with flying. Artifact and enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Every worthy warrior who arrives in Starnheim is gifted a mount befitting of their heroism, a mighty Pegasus, raised and trained by the Valkyries. Scorn Effigy costs 3 for a 2/3 Scarecrow artifact creature with Foretell 0. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. It remembers every wound it has seen or suffered, and nothing else. Roots of Wisdom. 1 and a green for a sorcery. Mill 3 cards, then return a land card or elf card from your graveyard to your hand. If you can't, draw a card. To mill a card, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Though imprisoned in Jaspera trees. Jaspera? I don't know. The elvish gods known as the Aenir still whisper through the ages. Bredegard Stronghold. Land. Bredegard Stronghold enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add a green. Pay a green and 2 white and tap and sacrifice Bredegard Stronghold. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. They gain vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Spectral Steel. 1 and a white for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Pay 1 and a white and exile Spectral Steel from your graveyard. Return another target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Elven Bow. Costs a green for an equipment artifact. When Elven Bow enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token, then attach Elven Bow to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has reach. Equip for 3. Ooh. King Narfi's Betrayal. Costs 1, a blue, and a black for a saga enchantment. As this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3. Each player mills 4 cards, then you may exile a creature or planeswalker card from each graveyard. That's 1, 2, and 3. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among cards exiled with King Narfi's Betrayal, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. We got Snowfield Sinkhole, Plains Swamp, Snowland. Snowfield Sinkhole enters the battlefield tapped. Young Fatima bellowed to the cosmos, daring the gods to punish her hubris. Well, she got their attention, as you can see, says Iskeen Kana Storyteller. Got another double face token. Alright. Only 2 left. Axgard Braggart. 3 and a white for a 3/3 dwarf warrior creature with boast. For 1 and a white. Untap Axgard Braggart. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Heavy? Ha! The Troll King of Mossrun was heavy, and I tossed him 5 miles. Pilfering Hawk. 1 and a blue for a 1/2 bird snow creature with flying. Pay a snow and tap. Draw a card, then discard a card. This symbol can be paid with 1 mana from a snow source. Well, at least it left us a mouse in exchange. Make that half a mouse. Says Binhald, Beskir veteran. Axgard Cavalry. 1 and a red for a 2/2 dwarf berserker creature. Target creature gains haste until end of turn. Oh, that happens if you tap it. Riding the Goat. Dwarven expression meaning a foolhardy act of bravery. Glittering Frost. 2 and a green for an aura snow enchantment. Enchant land. Enchanted land is snow. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional mana of any color. At last, the storm's rage subsided, leaving a silent, frozen beauty in its wake. Wither Crown. 1 and a black for an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has base power 0 and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. We'll see each other again soon, says Egon, god of death. 2 black for an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. He spent the final moments of his existence tumbling down the length of the serpent's jaws, driven mad by the magnitude of the cosmos. Vault Robber, 1 and a red, for a 1/3 dwarf rogue creature. Pay 1 and tap, and exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a treasure token. It's an artifact with tap. Sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. The dwarves believe works of art should be passed down the generations, not buried with the dead. Iron Verdict, 2 and a white for an instant. Iron Verdict deals 5 damage to target tapped creature. Foretell, for 1. For a white. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. You'll raid nothing but mist in Istfell. Goldvein Pick costs 2. It's an equipment artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. It's an artifact with tap. Sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Equip for 1. Pay 1. Attach to a target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Divine Gambit costs 2 white. Sorcery. Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment an opponent controls. That player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. There are rules, and then there are gods. Saw It Coming. 1 and 2 blue for an instant. Counter target spell. Foretell 1 and a blue. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. How predictable. Basalt Ravager, 3 and a red for a 4/2 giant wizard creature. When Basalt Ravager enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common. Calamity Bearer, 2 and 2 red for a 3/4 giant berserker creature. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. He'd ignite the world tree itself if he could. Volatile Fjord. Island Mountain Snowland. Volatile Fjord enters the battlefield tapped. I watched with my own eyes as Yari Eaglecaller fell from these cliffs, only to be snatched from the air by a giant bird, says Iskeen, Kana storyteller. Ooh, and a foil. Skemfar Elderhall. Land. Skemfar Elderhall enters the battlefield tapped. Tapped at a green. Pay 2 black and a green, and tap, and sacrifice Skemfar Elderhall. Up to 1 target creature you don't control gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Create 2 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. We got a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Alright, last pack. Breakneck Berserker. 2 and a red for a 3/2 dwarf berserker creature with haste. Go for the knees. The last giant who tried to get past us rolled back down the mountain in a dozen pieces. Warhorn Blast. 4 and a white for an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Foretell for 2 and a white. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Mead down, swords up. Brine Barrow Intruder. Costs a blue for a 1/2 human rogue creature with flash. When Brine Barrow Intruder enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Locked in the ice of Carfell, the treasures of ancient nobles await in ruins guarded by the dead. Run Amok. 1 and a red for an instant. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. A Tuskeri never shrinks from battle. Quite the opposite, in fact, says Arnie Broken Brow. Knotfold Recluse. 2 and a green for a 4/2 spider creature with reach. Fed up with webs impeding travelers in other realms, Kolvori banished the giant spiders to Knotfold, where their webs snare only the occasional rampaging troll. Deathnell Berserker. 1 and a black for a 2/2 elf berserker creature. When Deathnell Berserker dies, if its power was 3 or greater, create a 2/2 black zombie berserker creature token. Sven felled the elf with an arrow through the chest, but moments later the corpse rose with a sneer to fight again. From the Longbeard Saga. Shackles of Treachery. 2 and a red for a sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it gains haste, and whenever this creature deals damage, destroy target equipment attached to it. In that instant, Toralf felt only the power of the storm and the need to destroy. Elderleaf Mentor. 3 and a green for a 3/2 elf warrior creature. When Elderleaf Mentor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. Our ancestors grew complacent in their divinity, allowing their lessers to topple them. Never again. Frostbite. Costs a red for a snow instant. Frostbite deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. Don't wander far. It's a bit nippy out there, says Lighter Expedition Leader. Raven Form. 2 and a blue. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. Foretell for a blue. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Rune of Flight. 1 and a blue for an Aura Rune enchantment. Enchant permanent. When Rune of Flight enters the battlefield, draw a card. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it has flying. As long as enchanted permanent is an equipment, it has equipped creature has flying. Arnie Slays the Troll. Costs a green and a red for this Saga enchantment. As this Saga enters and after your draw step, add a lower counter. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Target creature you control fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. 2. Add a red. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature you control. 3. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Port of Karfell. Land. Port of Karfell enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add a blue. Pay 3, a blue, and 2 black, and tap. And sacrifice Port of Karfell. Mill 4 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. To mill a card, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. And our last rare is Sarulf Realm Eater. 1, a black, and a green for a 3/3 wolf legendary creature. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Sarulf Realm Eater. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Sarulf has 1 or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. Arctic Treeline. So Forest Plains Snowland. Arctic Treeline enters the battlefield tapped. When the light of Starnheim shines here, every frost-edged needle glitters with its reflected glory of the cosmos. This is Keen, Kana Storyteller. We got a 1/1 human warrior token creature.